This is Alova with astrowisdom.net, and I'd like to share how I helped someone find her lost phone. This is a photograph of the actual phone that was lost, and I used the methods of advanced stellar astrology developed by K.S. Krishnamurti, and I did this by using a moment chart, also called horary astrology. So I received a Skype call. She couldn't call me because her battery was dead on her phone, and obviously it was lost. And she was desperate. She looked everywhere, in her purse, in the compartments, even in her shoes, down in between the cushions of the sofa, in the car, in the toy box. There was a toddler who could have picked up the phone and just carried it off anywhere. So I constructed a moment chart. Now, the important thing about a moment chart is that we need to construct the chart for the time when the astrologer is, quote, seized, unquote, with the question. This is such a beautiful description by Krishnamurti. When I had the feeling, I really want to find, where is this phone? How can I help my friend find this phone? I'm going to sit down and find out the answer right now. That's when we do the chart. We do not do the moment chart when we are someone calls us with a question, or even when we understand the question. We do the moment chart when the astrologer is ready to answer the question right now and is committed to doing the analysis right at this moment. That's the moment to use. We also use the location of the astrologer at that moment, not the location of the person asking the question, of the astrologer at the moment when the astrologer is committed to and seized with the question. Okay, so this is the moment chart. And I was able to tell her right away, your phone is hidden, but it's not gone. It can be found. It's not permanently missing. How was I able to tell her that right away? Well, first of all, the first thing that you look at with any moment chart is you look at the ascendant. We see that the ascendant is in Scorpio. This is ruled by Pluto. And Pluto is associated with things that are hidden, things that are buried or underneath, but things that are very much still there. Okay, it was not completely missing. The small constellation of the ascendant, this stands for the constellation called the eldest. It is ruled by Mercury. So this indicates that certainly it was a communication device, and also that we might be able to use our intellect to figure out where the answer to the question. Now, items that have been stolen or are permanently lost or have really disappeared are indicated by the dragon's head right here or the dragon's tail. Now, the dragon head and the dragon tail are not ruling planets of this chart. They are not in prominent positions. And this is what gave me the confidence to assure her that her phone could be still found, which was a great relief to her. There are a couple of other indications that the phone could be found. One is that the ruler of the ascendant, this is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is actually in a harmonious aspect. It's in trine to the ascendant. And so this indicates that is a very favorable indication, because when the ruler is in trine to the ascendant, which governs the question, it's a favorable indication. It's not definitive, but it is favorable. There's one more favorable indication, and that is that the moon here is also in favorable aspect to Jupiter. Jupiter always tries to be beneficial, and the moon represents the mind, and so Jupiter is also going to try help answer this question. So these both of these indications are favorable indications, but they are not definitive in and of themselves. Okay, so let's analyze the moment chart. What we need to do is find the ruling planets here. We need to find the 3 ruling planets of the ascendant and the 3 ruling planets of the moon position. So first we're going to look at the ascendant. It's in 23 degrees of Scorpio, 44 minutes. Now we know that Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, and so Pluto goes right here. It's the ruler of the big constellation of the ascendant. The little constellation, the small constellation of the ascendant, is ruled by Mercury here. If you don't happen to recognize that offhand, there is a video that I've posted about how to find the ruling planets, and it describes how you can go look them up on my site. I have a chart that shows the 3 ruling planets for any point of the zodiac. So we want to look up 23 degrees 44 minutes of Scorpio. So on the chart, Scorpio is a water sign, so we look in the blue column, and we want to find 2344. Well, here's 23 degrees 20 minutes. 2344 is after that and before the next one. So the ascendant of this moment chart falls in this red box here. Mercury is the ruler of the small constellation, so Mercury goes right here. And the little ruler is Mars, so Mars goes over here. And now we're going to do the same thing for the moon. The moon is down here in 18 degrees of Capricorn, 47 minutes. This small constellation is called the Ear. It happens to be ruled by the moon, but we're going to look up 1847 of Capricorn in the chart that's on my website. Capricorn is an earth sign, so we look in the green column, and we see that 1847 is after 1840 and before the next one. So the moon position falls in this green box here, which has a small constellation ruler of moon, so moon goes right here, and a little ruler of Mercury, so Mercury goes right here. And it's in Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, so Saturn goes here. The last thing we have to find is the ruler of the weekday. My charting software shows me that this happened on the day of Mercury. That means it was a Wednesday and it was after sunrise. So Mercury goes in this box here. So these are the 5 ruling planets here. Mercury is strongest, Pluto is second, Moon is third, Saturn is fourth, and Mercury we already have. These 2 planets, Mars and Mercury here, are the little rulers. They are not ruling planets, but they are very, very useful, as we shall see. Okay, so the first thing we see is that Mercury governs communication, and Pluto governs things that are silent, and indeed the question is about a lack of communication that is silent. So as always, a moment chart will show the nature of a question. All right, so I've listed some things here that are associated with each of the ruling planets. The first thing, in fact, I said to her is that it's some place where there's 2 of something. Okay? Mercury is associated with duality, with anytime there's 2 of something, or sometimes where there are more than 2 of something. It can also be multiple things. Mercury is also associated with writing, speaking, any kind of communication, writing implements. Pluto is associated with anything that is hidden, dark, buried, deep underneath, a place that is not open. So I told her that the phone it's not out in the open. It's not on a table anywhere. It's not open on the floor. It's in a hidden place where you can't see it. It's dark. It's probably deep down someplace. I would not look up in an upper cupboard. It would be someplace down underneath something. Now the little ruler Mars. Little rulers govern the specifics. They do not show the general area. They show something very specific. Mars is associated with tools, with implements, with metal, any kind of machinery or springs, for example. And so this is going to tell us something specific about where it's located. Now, I did not indicate that she should go look in her toolbox or in the garage where her tools might be stored, or in the engine compartment of her car, okay, because Mars is a specific little ruler inside these other things, okay. The main ruling planets, 1, 2, and 3, 4, will show the basic nature of the answer to the question. Now, Moon says that it's something that's comfortable. It could also indicate cooking or the kitchen, where food is prepared. And Saturn indicates something that is a solid physical structure, something that's heavy or massive, perhaps something that is old or antique. So when I related to her these indications, the first thing that she flashed on was the sofa, because her sofa, it was dual. There were two parts of it. Here's a picture of the sofa, and you can see that it's in two parts. So this is very definitely a dual sofa. It is comfortable. It has cushions. It is a solid physical structure. It is old. It's about 60 years old at this point. And she used to use this sofa for writing and speaking. She would sit on the sofa and write emails. She would sit and speak to people. It was very much a place where she usually did a lot of communication. The sofa also has areas that are hidden dark and not open. So she had already looked underneath the sofa, but what she did is she had in fact stuck her hand down there as far as she could, and she had found things there before, but she had not found her phone looking in between the cushions. So what she did was she turned the sofa upside down to try and get to the springs, because I told her, well, it could be springs or some kind of metal. Wherever the phone is, there's some kind of metal around it. Well, there are springs inside the sofa, and underneath the sofa there was some fabric, and she managed to get her hand inside the fabric, and this is what she found. Here was her phone among the springs of the sofa. And she also found a lot of pens and pencils. She found keys, and she found coins. So she found multiple things, multiple categories of things. She found writing implements. It was indeed hidden in the dark. She found it was among metal and among tools. A key is a type of tool. And so she was very happy to find her phone. And I was happy to have helped her. So thanks for sharing astrology. We like to share tips and insights from ancient and modern techniques, East and West.